In this video, we're going to be scrapping routers, handheld routers like you use to put a feature on the side of a piece of wood to make molding or something along those lines, or rounding off the edge of a piece of wood. Put on our gloves here. Now I want to show you in this video two different styles, the older style and the newer style. Now basically they work the same and they're comprised of about the same components. The older style is going to have a lot more aluminum and a little bit different style copper in it than the newer ones. But they're both basically going to come apart the same way. You hold a bit in the bottom of these, and you have a handle on each side, and some have a light, but basically all you're doing is holding an electrical motor. So you want to make sure you get down in there and get your scrap copper out. Same way, we'll start with this old one here. Get this cord out of the way. You just got 4 screws at the top, and these are flathead screws, being an older piece like that. And once you get those 4 screws removed, just stick your flathead down in there and start working around, and you'll start freeing this up. And when you free it up, that top motor part's going to come loose. We'll set this back aside and talk about this a little bit. I hope you can see this pretty good. And what I was talking about, the different styles of motors. Now this encapsulation's got some pretty thick copper wire in it, and it comes up to a brass button on each side. I've already taken one of those out. I'll show you that as a yellow brass button there to make contact. And we'll set that aside, and you have another one on this side, and of course you got your power cable. So once you get this apart, take these 2 screws out, and this whole mechanism will pull out and give you access to all your copper wire that's in there. And you can even take that toggle switch out. I've seen those being sold on eBay. And then of course you take your magnet, and that's going to be a cast aluminum top there. So we'll set this aside. That's the older style. It's got a pretty long cord on it. And this is the base. It has an adjustment and tensioner ring there. That's steel. You want to take that off, and it just hand twists off and slides out that side. And of course both your handles are a flathead screwdriver or screw in there. Take your handles loose. Take these 3 screws out, and this it's either plastic or rubber on some of them and base, and that keeps it from scarring whatever wood you're sliding across. You want to take that out, and then take your bolt out. You can see down in there that holds your bit, and once you do that, this motor mechanism will just come right out of there. And we have another video posted on how to harvest the copper out of those electrical motors. So, and that'll give you another cast aluminum base there to go in your aluminum pile. Set that to the side. It also had a safety on the bottom, or a guide, and this rode across the wood to keep you from having a wavy profile on your molding. Of course that's not what this video is about, but anyway, take that screw out there, and that'll release that piece of steel off the bottom of it. Set that aside, and that's another good piece of aluminum there. Now to our newer piece, you want to take the 3 screws that's in the top out, and those are Phillips head. That's usually a good sign if you can tell the age of a woodworking tool or handheld tool like that. If it's got a Phillips head screw on it, it's fairly new. If it's straight head on a lot of stuff, it could be back as far as the 50s. And once you get that, this plastic top comes off. Set that aside, and you've got 4 screws that holds this down in there. Phillips head again. We've taken some of them out already. We'll take the last one out. Got that screw out, or loose rather. Just take your flathead screwdriver again and start working around that seam. And what you're doing is separating that motor. It seems to be pretty loose now. Got that coming out. Take your wire clippers. What you're doing here is just cutting that power cord off. There's a little brass piece fell out for the guide. And you can see the difference in the copper here than compared to the older encapsulated style here. That encapsulated style is a 2-wire, and it's very thick, and it's kind of hard to get to. You have to take that out and hit it with a hammer and break that loose. But you want to make sure that you wear eye and breathing protection when you do that. Some of that stuff has got some pretty rough chemicals in it. And that's basically what you'll be able to harvest there. There is some brass contacts on either side, and you can just stick a flathead screwdriver down in there and pop those loose. They'll lift right out of there. Well, if I can get it turned around right anyway. There's a yellow brass contact there. And then just clip the top of your copper wire there and just work it down through those holes, and that'll come right out. It's a good piece of copper, number 2 copper. Now on this piece, again, you want to take your bottom base off and take your bolt that retains the bit in there, and then this motor part will slide right out of there. And again, you can refer back to our video on harvesting copper out of electric motors. And then you got a little bit of cast aluminum there on the bottom. So I see a lot of people just pick these up on the side of the road and just clip the cord off of them, and the rest of it goes in shred. Just take 10 minutes or so that it takes to take a few screws out, and you're going to wind up with at least double your money, if not triple your money, if you take them and break them all the way down. So that is scrapping and harvesting copper from handheld routers. Again, thanks for watching, and happy scrapping.